Hello, my name is Grian, and today I'm way out of my comfort zone here. I'm going to be showing you how to animate a building, and by this I mean using command blocks to make it appear like they are moving. So if I press this button here, you can see this proof of concept, how we can make an elevator go up and down using command blocks. The idea behind it is very simple. You build a series of frames and then you use command blocks to paste them in one after the other. It really looks like it is moving and it's very, very effective. But you can do more than just an elevator. You can do practically anything. For another example, here is a fire animation just made with stained glass. And it's just beautiful. You can make anything you want. You could make a man walking, anything. As you can see, all of the frames are laid out like this, accompanied by a command block, and this is essentially how it is done. I will go into more detail now. So here we have all the frames laid out on the floor. They are, of course, empty right now, and the first thing that we're going to do is build the animation. And this is probably the easy bit and the hard bit, depending on what you want to do. So for this example, I'm going to make a very simple wobble monster, and a wobble monster is simply a cobblestone pillar that flops side to side in an animation. So essentially all we have to do is build each frame of the animation. So in every square, I've just edited the cobblestone pillar to move ever so slightly using slab and stairs every time we go along, so that when played one after the other, it's going to appear like it's moving. Now this seems very simple, and I'm doing a very simple animation, and with the help of World Edit you can copy paste it over, make your edit, and continue so on and so forth until you have a large set of frames like I have here. And this is essentially it. This is the entire animation. Now, the cobblestone pillar is nothing without a face, so I just go and add a sign for the face of the wobble monster. But as you can see, these are all the frames, and if you just look from one frame to the next, you can tell how this is going to move. And all we're going to need to do now, and this is probably the hardest part to explain, is the command blocking. So you just place the command block right next to each single frame, and we need to make a very specific command, which I'm going to break down into its core components. There are 4 parts of the command block, and do bear with me, I will explain the command first, and then put it into practice so you understand what I mean. There are 4 parts. The first bit is /clone. That bit's easy. Then you have XYZ, XYZ, and another XYZ, and obviously those X, Ys, and Zs all represent a number, more specifically, the direction of the coordinate you need to go in. Okay, so the first XYZ represents the block that we want to select with the command block to highlight the area that we want to clone. The second XYZ is the second block that we want to clone. So imagine a virtual space highlighted by 2 points. That cuboid is the area we are highlighting to clone. Finally, the third XYZ is quite simply the place where we want to paste that clone. So that will remain the same number throughout each command block, as will everything else. In fact, the way we're setting out our command block is relative to the build, meaning that every single command block will be the same, and this actually saves quite a lot of time, because you could either paste the same one in or use World Edit just to simply stack the command block forward. Right, now let's put it into practice. So the first thing we need to do is /clone and just put that straight into the command block. That's probably the easiest part. Now we need to tell the command block which 2 points we need to select to highlight the area which we're going to clone. The first set of XYZ is this first gold block that I've placed there. The second set is going to be this second gold block, and you can visualize that cuboid space where the wobble monster is, and that is the area we're going to highlight. So we now need to tell the command block relative to the command block where the gold blocks are. So using World Edit, I'm just measuring along the first X coordinate. And in the direction there, positive X is where it is. So I then do tandem 8, which was the amount of blocks it was, as was calculated by the World Edit. And you can see that is how far it is to the gold block. So the tandem is just that little squiggly line, and now we need to do exactly the same thing for the Y coordinate, which is obviously above you, so that is 6. Finally, we need to tell it where it is on the Z coordinate. So again, I'm using World Edit to calculate how far along that is, which is 9 blocks, so it's then space tandem 9. So we've now told the command block to select that particular gold block as our first point. We now need to tell it the second gold block where that is. So in a similar way, we are telling it that is just one block to the right of it and underneath. So because there's no positive X coordinate, we just put a single tandem as there's no place for it to go. And upwards, instead of going up, we are going down one block. So we need to do tandem -1. That way we're telling it to go negatively into the ground one block to go to the gold block there. And then finally we need to tell it to go to the positive Z coordinate. And you can see these coordinates by pressing F3 to bring that information up. And we do tandem 1. We have now selected those 2 points as our coordinates. It now understands relative to that command block where it's going to go. The final set, as I said when I explained the command, is where we're going to paste it. So I just want to paste it here where I've placed the command block, and it's going to paste it towards positive X, positive Y, and positive Z. So highlighting it here in this cuboid dimension here. So the block that I want to highlight is that diamond block, which I'm just about to place in the corner of those things. So just so you're aware, that is how it determines where it is going to be placed. So I'm just going to press F3, and you can see it has a section which says block, and I'm just going to write in the chat that diamond block which I was standing on. I then rush over to the command block, and that's the last set of coordinates I need to put in, the ones from the chat which I just did. Now if I click done, I can then add a button to it just to test if it works, and click the button and it appears. Look, there it is. That is the cloned and placed area for animation. That is the first one. Now comes the easier part, which is just replicating it. And you can replicate that area because the command block will take it as it is when it is activated. So if I press it again, it removes those gold blocks with all the changes that I have just made. So what happens next is quite simple. We need to stack this one command block to every single one, because the command is completely the same every time, because as I said, it's all relative to the command block. You can actually put in specific coordinates for all 3 parts, but that would be very, very lengthy. It's probably better to understand the concept of making it relative to the command block so that you can just replicate it every time. And as you can see, I've been pressing the buttons and it's been changing it. So once we've got this command block placed, all we have to do is link it up with some redstone and send a pulse all the way through at the right tick, and it will play the animation where I've told it to paste the clones. So now all we have to do is link it up with redstone. So quite simply, you add redstone all the way along and a repeater at the end. Make sure that you do not place redstone over the top of your wobble monster area, otherwise it's going to clone the redstone as well. I actually made this very same mistake when I was doing this. Please bear in mind that this was my first time doing it, and I know a lot of you command block geniuses out there that I'm sure are watching this are thinking, oh, Grian sucks at command blocks. It's true. It's completely true. I'm going through the easiest way to do this. But there are ways to save time. For example, you can reuse frames. You can just have the command block be activated again. For the elevator, each frame is used twice. There's no need to actually copy-paste it more than once, because you can just time it correctly with the command blocks. Once you've hooked it up and maybe cleaned up the animation a little bit, it should look something like this. And now it's time to send a pulse through it, because we are basically finished. So if I just hook it up to a button, you can see in the background, it is playing the animation. However, most people found, and I have been advised, that a button pulse is too long for the kind of animation we want. So the way we deal with this is add a command block underneath, and we're going to be using the set block command. I'm just going to teach you straight up how to do this. So you want to take, again, using that block on F3, write the coordinates down above this exact command block where we want the pulse to begin. Then we put in those coordinates, so for in this example, 163.41029. That gives you the coordinates, and then we just put stone. So let's test it out. We press the button, boom, it just set it to stone. Very easy. Now we head on over to our animation stand, and we're going to be doing something very similar. We type in the exact same command, except this time it's set block, the coordinates once more, and a redstone block. I think a lot of you will know what is going on, some of you might not. As soon as we activate this command block, it's going to spawn in a redstone block and instantly remove it and change it to stone because it activates that other command block. There you can see in practice, and the animation moves a lot faster because of it, and you can even see in the background how the redstone block is instantly changing to stone to send the signal. And not only that, you create a signal from a distance without having to hook it up to loads and loads of redstone. So as you can see, we're kind of finished here. That is the animation, that is how you animate a building. I know the wobble monster wasn't particularly exciting, but it demonstrated the proof of concept to you and how you go about doing it. So I really hope I managed to explain myself correctly. I struggled to understand some of the concepts when I was learning this myself, and this is a good time to credit my friend Sage, who taught me how to do it, so big thank you to him. I'm sure he'll be in the comments if you want to chat to him. Thank you, Sage. That was very nice of you to teach me, and I hope that some of you will make some animations, maybe even tweet me a gif of your animations that you end up doing. So, that's it from me. Thank you very much for watching, and if you're listening to my voice right now, that means you made it to the end of the video, which I am always appreciative of. Thank you so much. Goodbye. Man, I should become a singer.